Hi, I'm Lauren and welcome to my craft room. Today I am hopping along with Team Tiny for our hashtag driven hop for birthday cards. And you know what the funny thing is? It's actually my birthday today. So I'm really excited to share with you this birthday card that I made for myself. I'm also celebrating my birthday today by giving away two $25 gift certificates to Fawn. Now, this is not sponsored by Fawn. This is me just wanting to share my love with all of you. I can't believe I've hit 500 subscribers and I just wanted to say thank you. So in order to enter to win, all you gotta do is leave a comment below after watching my video and tell me what your favorite interactive type of card is. Pull tab, shaker, the little magic iris dies. Let me know what your favorite interactive card is. And to win the second gift certificate, you're gonna head over to my Instagram page. So that's also linked down below. So I'm so excited to share this card with you, so let's get into it. To create the background of my big gigantic birthday card, I cut a sheet of white cardstock in half, so it is 8.5 by 5.5, and I'm using my Distress Oxides in broken china, faded jeans, and chipped sapphire. And I'm just blending these together as best as possible. I'm not really trying to go for a full smooth look. I think the way the light shines into the ocean, it's not going to be this perfect solid color. Plus, I'm going to go over it again and try to blend in the colors more, so it will become, a little smoother the more I blend. And I'm just using a coffee filter to keep my fingerprints from getting everywhere, and using my microfiber cloth to clean off color because I just have one blue distressing brush, blending brush. And I'm using my stencils from Fawn in the ocean waves. And I'm going back again with those same three colors and just trying to create some subtle background. Most of this will end up getting covered, but I know it's there. And I think it adds a little if you look really closely to the card. And once I'm finally happy with my blending, I am going to clean up my workstation, and then I'm going to put some splatter on the background. I'm using different colors from Fun Stamper's Journey, as well as this new Avery Elle spray. It's called White Ink Spray, and it's not as pigmented as I thought it would be, but it does look very pretty in the background. So I sprayed that on a bunch of times, and then I used the different silk colors. I used Sparkle Silk, Turbo Teal, and Beach Ball as my colors, and I also spritzed on some water from a water spritzer and then patted it dry with my microfiber cloth. So the main part of my card is going to be the camera die. So I place it onto my background to figure out where it's going to go on my card. I'm going to create the sand for the bottom of the ocean floor. So I use my slimline dies from Fawn to cut out those shapes on some craft paper. And I'm using ground espresso distress ink to add some depth to those pieces. And I'm putting them in my splatter box, and I'm going to use that white spray again from Avery Elle, more sparkle silk, and I'm going to use a brown silk called Dark Roast to add in some texture to my sand. And I really like this look. I think it kind of gives that ocean feel and sandy feel to my pieces. So now that those are done, I'm gonna layer them and try to figure out where I'm gonna put my camera. So originally I was thinking my camera would be a shaker piece, so I'm cutting this little snippet out of my sand because I wanted my backing of my shaker card to be the ocean, but I'm gonna change my mind in just a couple minutes. But I wanted to explain why there was that weird little dip in the sand there. So then I was like, no, I'm gonna do the pull tab. Everyone knows, if you know me for a while on social media, I love pull tabs. They're probably my favorite. I don't know what it is about hiding things in my cards and then having that little surprise effect. I just really love it. So we're gonna go with pull tab. And I'm assembling the rest of my camera. I cut everything out in black, but the little flash piece I cut out in the new holographic paper from Fawn, and I think it's kind of cool. It gives like a little light effect because of that really pretty design from the holographic paper. And I'm cutting out another piece of white paper to make that little center part of the camera where the stitched design is, and I distressed that in broken china and faded jeans, and then splattered it just with that white spray from Avery Elle and the sparkle silk. And I'm gonna adhere that right onto my camera, so it kind of has that same underwater look to it. And I'm placing it again, trying to figure out how I want it. I want it to be straight this time now. I'm not gonna put it crooked anymore because I want my pull tab to function smoothly. And now I'm gonna put together the different pieces of the pull tab that come with the camera pull tab add-on. These are very long names. And this is where my pull tab is going to sit. So I'm trying to make it even in the center of my camera. And then the actual slot that's gonna be on my background, so behind the camera, you won't see it, where the little instant picture is going to slide up. I'm placing that to be the center of the camera and center of that pull tab, and I'm using purple tape just to kind of keep those in place while I finish putting everything together. I'm gonna slide that camera die and I run it through my cutter. So now I need to add that same slot to my sandy beach because it does overlap a little. And I'm just going to use a self-healing mat and my retractable craft knife to just cut that little piece out. And unfortunately, I didn't have it perfectly centered to my background, so I'm just using my paper snips to widen that hole or widen the slot because I don't want my camera to get stuck on it. It needs to be the same width as that background slot or it could get jammed. Now I'm going to work on my picture. So I used the die to cut out the frame, and then I measured the die to cut out the background. And I distressed that background piece in just the broken china color, and I spritzed it with the white spray, and I'm just using sparkle silk and the same beach ball and turbo teal silks to make that same background as my ocean, because this is a picture of some critters in the ocean and my background should look the same, right? So I'm using some wet glue, and I've already cut out 3 critters from the set Ocean Shell-fie. Wow, that was Ocean Shell-fie. Shell-fie? Oh my god. Why are those words so hard to say right now? And I colored my 3 critters using my Letraset Pro markers, and I also used my white gel pen to add some accents as well. And I glued those right onto the background, and I'm gluing my frame on top of that. So that is my little picture. I'm just gonna snip off the side pieces so that way it's contained inside that frame. And now let's put the pull tab portion of this card together. So I cut out the actual pull tab in some craft paper, and I cut the little piece that holds that tab in place on the back in just some scrap white paper. And I'm making sure I have good placement. I know exactly where to glue my Instax camera piece, or I guess it's not Instax, but that's what it's supposed to be like. And in Fawn's video, when they show how to put this together, because I watched that a bunch of times before working on my own video, they said to glue the instant picture to the bottom of that little toast piece of the pull tab. So I glued my sand directly onto the background, and I'm gluing this piece of white scrap paper behind my camera, and I'm putting the pull tab in, adding glue to that little toast piece, and lining up my picture to the center, and it lines up to the bottom of that toast piece. And it is actually a little bit off-centered, which of course bugs only me. So just make sure, if you need to use a T-ruler, that you get it on there as straight as possible, but it will fit in my little opening on my camera. It's fine. And I'm gluing some paper to cover that little hole, and putting on foam tape to pop up my camera. And I'm using my front piece of sand because I want it to look like it's sitting in the sand. So I'm having one part of the camera on the left be in front of that sand piece, and then the larger hill will be in front of the camera. And now that everything is placed and centered and straight as much as I possibly can, I lower that tab all the way down and I just trim off that little extra off of the pull tab. And now I'm using some foam tape to pop up the front part of my sand. I'm making sure that it's even and I'm layering it so that way it looks like the camera is kind of sitting in the sand. Making sure my pull tab works and everything is great. So now I cut out the top of my pull tab with a little arrow showing to pull up in some white cardstock and putting that on top of the tab. Now I am gonna start placing all of my critters on my card. I'm just going through and I'm showing you how I laid everything out. I have a few pieces that I cut and colored that I'm not going to use on the outside, but I'm just showing you kind of just how I went through and did a dry run of laying everything out before I glue everything on. So while I'm doing this, I just want to talk about Team Tiny real quick. So Team Tiny is a Facebook group for YouTube crafters who are still building their subscriber base. You have to have less than 1,000 to be in this group. And I've been a part of it for now a couple months, and I'm so blessed to have 500 subscribers. I never thought I would be here. A few months ago, I think I had 30, and to have this many, I'm just blown away that you are all such beautiful people for following me. I hope I can continue to bring you content that keeps you interested. And I love interactive cards, so I think that's probably what you'll see the most of from me. But thank you again for being here and for subscribing. And if you want more information about Team Tiny, drop a comment and I will let you know. But you should be dropping a comment anyway to be entered to win that $25 gift certificate from Fawn. It's not sponsored by Fawn. I didn't reach out or anything like that, but I will buy you a gift card just to say thank you and to celebrate my birthday with me. So now I'm putting on my happy birthday sentiment. I use the dies Kohl's ABCs to die cut happy out of some white cardstock, and I used the Scripty birthday die and I cut it out of that same holographic paper, and I love how shiny it is. It's so pretty. And now that my sentiment on the front is glued down, I'm gonna start adhering all of these pieces. So I'm just gonna fast forward through it. And as you can see, I popped up anything that was in the background except for my octopus. He is glued directly down, and my little shipwreck is glued directly down. And anything on the front part of my card, so that sand on the bottom there and my camera, that is glued down. And then I had a bunch of different bubbles and I glued those everywhere. And those are all glued directly down with wet glue. And those are kind of my little embellishments to the card. I thought about adding some jewels, but then I decided the bubbles were plenty. So here is my final card. I am gonna pop this up onto a card base, which is a really thick, heavy 110 cardstock, just folded in half. And I used my foam tape doubled up to put that onto my card base. So for the inside, since I had these two extra little pieces that I didn't use on the front, I'm just gonna glue them on inside just to add a little bit to the inside since it is a big giant card. And I just thought it'd be fun to bring some of that underwater into the card. And I'm using the sentiment from the Manatee stamp set saying let's celebrate to be my inside sentiment. So happy birthday, let's celebrate. Even though this is a birthday card to myself. My husband actually asked if he could sign it since I made it and it's for myself. But here is my card. It's huge and I love it and I think it's so fun, and I really hope that you love it as much as I do. Here are some still shots, so don't forget to use the hashtag in my description to hop along with all of us today. Thank you so much again for watching and for subscribing and for liking and for commenting. Have a great day.